What's up, guys? It's that Sala. Okay, chill. It's just been a while, right? Nah, I'm still here. For those that follow me everywhere in every other social media platform, I mean. See, I'm already forgetting how to speak. I've been here. I'm here. I'm still here. Don't forget about me, okay? Some of you, actually many of you, have asked how I'm doing, which is a very vague question because I can easily just say fine. I'm fine. But let's break it down. 3 categories: physically, mentally, emotionally. Physically, I am 3 weeks post-op, post-surgery, and I am on a boot. For those that know, I'm still healing. My wound is still cooking, and my foot's still, working itself. And soon I will be starting physical therapy, so that's going to be interesting. I will show you guys what the process is as I get through that point. But other than that, I've been training still, as in, doing low tempo workouts, nothing crazy, just making sure that I stay active as much as I can. Literally, me with those crutches make me sweat sometimes. And I use a lot of upper body, a lot of core, so I'm still working, doing some sort of exercise every day. Mentally, actually, let's go with emotionally. Emotionally, I go up and down. As weird as this sounds, I am not sad. Well, actually, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because every time that I watch the guys at the gym and I see everyone train, there's a part of me that wishes I could jump in and be like, I'm just gonna do this and keep training. So there's a little part of me that misses training, but I also understand where I'm at. I'm still going to MMA. I'm still taking notes, and I still watch the guys train. So that helps me emotionally because I could be sad, I could be going on depression, I could be feeling like shit all the time, but I don't. I've been taking the time to go over whatever emotion that I have when it comes up. If I feel sad, then I'll do what I can to acknowledge it, but let it go. And if I feel angry, then I'll acknowledge it and I'll let it go. So basically, because I'm not using MMA to release my emotions, as I'm not punching, I'm not training hardcore where I'm, just letting it out through sweat or anything like that. I'm not. So I had to find a way to release and manage those emotions with my words and with sitting down with myself and being honest with myself. So that's emotional. And if it's a dice, it's different. Okay, but the last one, mental. Okay, so this one is the most important one because some of you know that in my gym we train MMA, but modern style MMA, modern style Jeet Kune by Bruce Lee. And it's not like the traditional Jeet Kune where we do like traditional martial arts. Like we do modern style with, boxing, kickboxing, all this arts. But we do follow some of Bruce Lee's philosophies. And the infamous quote that talks about be like water, be formless, shapeless like water. If you pour water into a cup, it becomes a cup. If you pour water into a teapot, it becomes a teapot. And so this was my philosophy for this 1 month of injury and healing from this injury. I had to adapt to get my mind into the positive things in my life. And I had to adjust my schedule drastically, especially after taking so much medication. And I felt so drowsy at times, sleepy, and I had to sit down a lot and sleep a lot. And I still sit down a lot and sleep a lot. That's where the essence of MMA came into play, because I learned to value MMA a lot more, where I am paying more attention to it. I'm paying attention to the technique, what it means, the strategies, how body mechanics work. And that's where when I go back to MMA, I'm definitely going to bring those things into play. A lot of people maybe see the sport as a rough sport, but I see the sport as a lifestyle, as a way of living, as a way to help me go through life. And I used MMA for so many years to give me that strength outside of MMA. And that's where the philosophy about Bruce Lee being like water came into play, because being like water does not just only mean in MMA, where you can take the fighting to the ground with wrestling, grappling. You can take the fight anywhere, everywhere if you wanted to. But the most important thing is, how can you do that at home? How can you put that and apply that to your life? And I think that was my ultimate test while going through this recovery, is how did I learn, or how am I applying all of the things that I learned in MMA? And the biggest one that comes into my head is that one. My adjustment here is listening and observing and mentally training, because my body knows what it's doing, but my mind is not always connected to my body. And I think that's part of the reason why I got injured, because if my mind would have logically thought, okay, well, something's wrong with my ankle, maybe I'm overtraining, my body is starting to bug me, maybe my body is just going to listen to my mind. So if I would have logically connected that with my body, I would have stopped, and maybe I would have adjusted and not go too hard on myself. So that's been the biggest key, connecting my mind and body. And so now I'm starting to see that it's very important to be myself and to be authentic. And it hasn't been easy. I'm not always superly excited to get up at times, because I know that I have to put my boot on, take my crutches, and it takes me about 2 hours or an hour, at least an hour, to get my breakfast and literally crutch my way to the couch and lay there and get my coffee and just do anything, or even taking a shower. It takes me some time. So the patience is being practiced. I love doing things on the go. If I think of something, I want to do it. And sometimes I tend to rush the process. But yet this is another test in my life to understand that I have to take my time. Literally. If I'm not patient with myself, how am I going to be patient with other people, right? It's the same concept with MMA. If we can't know ourselves as fighters, if we don't know our weaknesses, we don't know our strengths, then how do we manage to win a fight, right? Dan Severn once told us at the gym that anybody could beat Dan Severn, but because he knows himself so well, he uses his strengths against other opponents. Coming from that, I think about, I'm understanding my weaknesses here. And perhaps patience is the biggest one. Lacking patience and being too emotional, right? But I'm learning how to manage that. I think I've gotten a better grasp of my anger when it comes, because I have no other choice but to face it. Those are the main two things that I'm learning. Actually, I'm applying now that I am recovering from my Achilles injury. And of course, the practice of being positive. I'm very grateful that I have a good team behind me, and I'm literally coming back this year. I'm like, maybe it's not going to be this month, next month, but within the next few months, I'm going to come back, and I'll make sure to continue to pursue my best self and make sure that I continue to show my authentic self.
You know, I'm be the first bunny with washboard glutes. I'm not even sure what glutes are, but mine are gonna be shredded.
Oh yeah, that's fascinating.
Let me tell you something. Huh? Criminals